gets berated on the podcast we've created to commemorate action flicks, big horror, no tricks. John Travolta, Chuck Norris, insane clown posse, no fuss, no mercy, we discuss. Everything gets berated, no one is underrated. From the screen to the stage, except a new cage. No mercy, we engage.
Welcome to Everything Gets Berated, the Apple subscriber podcast, where we watch anything and everything that is not indie horror. I'm Anthony.
Indeed. And I am Brian with a B.
What's up, man?
I feel like shit, you know? It was a long night last night, man.
Yeah.
Oh, good times. I'm eating Swedish fish. I don't know what the fuck I just ate. It was like a weird one. It doesn't taste like Swedish fish. So if I die...
Are you sure it's a Swedish fish?
Change it.
It was not. It was in a Swedish fish bag.
Oh.
You know, but what do you call it? It for sure was like, you know, one of those like little clumps of something. So did it taste like a Swedish fish?
Yeah.
He'll buff out, you know?
Yeah.
I think I've had enough electrolytes and watermelon and water today to flush everything out of my system.
Yeah,
asparagus.
We did drink a bit last night.
Well, it was so funny because, you know, we haven't hung out and, like you said, almost a month.
Yeah, just about a month.
And then that drink, dude, for some reason, it just tastes so good once it hits your lips.
It goes down so quick.
So I've got whatever, my pregame Truly Unruly, an 8% Truly. And I've got my normal whiskey, you know?
All right. Well, let's see. What is it? Today we're talking about Muscles and Mayhem, the unauthorized American Gladiators story. I think I got the title right. This is the
unauthorized story of American Gladiators.
Okay, there we go. The Netflix documentary.
Yeah.
Why
is it unauthorized?
That's the thing is I think the authorized version was on ESPN. It was a 30 for 30 documentary. And
because I was like, hey, Anthony, you are not allowed to come over to my house. And then like you come over to my house and I'm just hanging out with you. Wouldn't you be like, what?
Yeah. No, but I think this is like they had like full authorization to use anything and everything in the ESPN one. Whereas this one, they mainly had to go off of what people could tell them.
Huh. Seems fishy.
Yeah.
Yep.
But,
so this is... it's a 5-part series.
Yes. 5-part series. It comes out at about 3.5 hours.
Huh.
Yeah, I did a little bit of mental math on that one. It was... Yeah, about 3.5 hours for the whole 5 episodes, and I mean, I don't like. Okay, what is your earliest like recollection of American Gladiators?
Dude, I swear when it first came out, like I was watching it, and like it came out 89, so I would have been
87.
87. So I would have been 5 years old, and I was like, was I that young watching that shit? Like,
well, no, I
remember watching all that stuff. And then, but, you know, it could just be nostalgic or your memories or something like that. Like, there's an episode where Gemini is picking up that, I can't remember her name, the other gladiator, the female gladiator. He was picking her up and carrying her, like, off of the court or floor or something. And I was like, I'm pretty sure I remember seeing that on TV.
Oh, was Sunny the first season?
Nope. It was nope. It was Blaze, I think.
Okay.
But you know, like I'm pretty sure I remember that. But I mean, watching all of it, so Excuse me. Watching all of it, like you just remember seeing, like, dude, I remember all those games. I remember, the cannonball swing, the football one, I'd say kind of the basketball one, where they had like look like a upside down street cone kind of thing, and they'd have to run and throw the basketball or the ball in there, and
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
the course that's stupid with the tennis balls, the what do they call it, javelin? No, the dummy sticks.
Oh yeah, the joust.
The joust. Like I remember all of those as a kid, and I remember thinking to myself, as and there's just how fucking cocky I am, and this is where my son gets from, I guess. But I was like, this looks pretty easy, man. Like,
Yeah,
looks pretty easy. Like the football one where you just gotta run and be like, and then juke them to get to the touchdown, the end zone.
Well, I think like the ease, like the easiness is the first 26 episodes. It's literally like the most athletic normal people you've ever seen versus Gladiators, because they kind of point that out.
Kind of like we can go, like a little bit of what they were talking about, but I know like the first episode, for instance, it's talking about the pilot.
Yeah.
And like that shit, you didn't see any of that. I don't remember them having those shitty uniforms, and
I don't remember that. I don't remember like a horse barn.
Right? I don't remember that either. So fuck.
Let's scoop up the horse shit real quick before we do this.
But they were saying too that it was the first 13 episodes until they got good. And I was like, damn, I said it was the first 13, where they go out there, he just has like an umpire vest on, and that's his fucking padding. And you're like, what the hell?
Or like they had like the thing that I didn't remember from the first 13 episodes was the executioner.
Yeah, I don't remember that guy. I think
I must have shoved that out of my mind, because it was, when I saw that, it was the most ludicrous thing.
And even that woman said, she's like, that was not a good idea. She's like, that idea was pretty stupid. And you're like, and then they were talking about, we didn't want to take away from the actual events or the sporting events that they were doing. You're just like, they're kind of doing bullshit events. Like I remember like the cannonball too, dude. Like I think it's the second episode. It was the second episode where Malibu got fucked up from the cannonball swing.
Right. Yeah.
But I remember, and this could be from like just being in a fighting stance or something, but like if you stand parallel with your feet side by side, even if you're in like a wide horse's stance, you can fall forward and backwards. You can't move side to side because you're in the deep stance. So if you get into a fighting stance where one foot is more forward and then the back foot is a little bit back and then more widened, like if you think about it, if you go back and remember some of those episodes, like when they had that deep stance, like a deep fighting stance, that's when they would knock those guys and they'd win, but if you go back and watch it, if his feet are like side by side, shoulder width apart, and when he gets kicked, he fucking basically does that backflip off of it, fucked him up.
Yeah. Which, like, I did rewatch that, and it's like you watch when Gemini would do that event, like he would get low, he would make them lift his weight up.
Yeah, you get low and get in a fighting stance, or like,
And Malibu was like sitting way too high.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's just one of those, like, it's a technique thing, but at the same time, like if enough people are messing it up, it becomes dangerous.
Yeah. Well, I remember the first episode, they were talking about the pilot and how, they didn't know what was going on. And I mean, I remember like those guys were like big, but like they were comparing themselves like Arnold and Sylvester, and you're just like, nah. Like they were, I mean, don't get me wrong, they were bigger than I've ever been, but it just seemed like they were a bunch of, what do you call it? Old football player. The guys were old football players, and the girls, they were athletic. I think there was one that said she was a weightlifter or bodybuilder or something like that, But then there was that scene where they're all at like Balboa Park fucking trying out and everything. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Like, when did
Yeah,
the XFL come into town?
dude. So they were just talking about what a shit show it was, and then like I don't remember the name, but they have a bunch of like the producers and directors and writers and shit like that when they're interviewing them. You know,
Which, um, of the like producer interviews, my favorite is the introduction to the director, Bob Levy. I
was
hope
it
I
Bob or was it Johnny, the fucking Elvis impersonator?
no, not
Oh,
him. No, like the actual director guy. Like,
okay.
they were like, we needed somebody who who directs action, and you see this like unathletic, overweight man eating potato chips.
Mm.
Like, and I was like, this is the perfect introduction.
Then they
He's like,
also like get into the randomness of the people that were behind the cameras. There's that one short dude who was overweight and he just looked like creepy. He looked like he was a fucking
the sex
perv.
obsessed guy, right? Yeah.
And then he's all talking about, oh yeah, I love watching porn. Hey, you guys any porn right now? Yeah, put a porn in right now. We'll talk about that. And you're just like, what the fuck, man? Like, God,
Yeah.
like I joke about, watching porn and we always talk about tits on our podcast and everything like that. But for this dude, be like, hi, I've never met you before. You got a porn right now? No? Oh, all right. You want to go watch one after
Oh,
this or what are we
oh,
doing?
no porn. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Like, I
That
think
dude, what the fuck?
it was very odd that they found a way to make that funny. I mean, I
They probably
started
had to.
laughing at a certain. I kind of think you kind of have to. Either you're gonna laugh or you're gonna keep acknowledging the uncomfortableness of the entire thing.
Yeah, it's like, when you have that friend that is super awkward. So then when you introduce him to like your other friends or your parents, and he's like, you know, brings up something so fucked up that you have to try to be like, oh no, like if like the next time you're like, hey, this is my friend Brian. If I was like, hey, birds aren't real, they're fucking actually drones that the government is using to watch us. Wouldn't you be like, oh, Brian, you crazy son of
Oh,
a
he's
bitch?
so funny. Yeah, I think.
Anyways, let's move on to here,
I
But
mean, he was like that was easily one of my favorite moments of. I want to say that was the second episode. Was like that whole uncomfortableness.
dude, super uncomfortable, man. And we weren't even fucking there.
I know, but it comes through the screen, which it
No.
was really a surprise that I mean Netflix really like didn't address that in any way, because since they're all so super
There's
woke
going to be
and
a
all that.
second series where it's like catching this fucking predator.
The assault allegations against Bob, the
Right.
director.
Right. So then the first episode was just talk about what a shit show that pilot was going to be and trying to do wardrobe and everything like that. And then they were talking about how the wardrobes kept falling off of them or like it'd be ripped so easily and their
Yeah.
nuts are fucking hanging out and shit. Like, god damn. So then like the second episode, I'll pull these up. Yeah. The second episode starts talking about letting the games begin. And this is where there's
Yeah.
like, we don't know what the fuck we're doing. We start coming up with these stupid games and these ideas of what we think might happen. So there was that. I never saw that one. There was a excuse me. There was the trampoline one. Do you remember that? This one was bounced on the trampoline. There was like little pieces of foam underneath them. They're like, all right, here's a gladiator event. You just got to try to grab as much styrofoam as you can.
I do not remember that one.
Dude. So
Because
basically, the
like
gladiator was jumping on a trampoline and they were trying to jump up and grab a ring. And that ring was basically a pendulum. And it was attached to the back
oh
of the contestant.
yes, okay, now I remember that.
And you're just like, how is this an event? Like you're just
Yeah.
trying to get styrofoam from underneath the gladiator's feet, you know? And there was the one where they try to pick up the other human and throw him up against a Velcro wall. And they're like, that didn't work at all. And like it goes to everybody that's behind the camera. It's like, didn't work. Nope, nothing worked. Because when you take that much mass and throw it against the wall, it bounces off of it. You know, they were trying to say they got the idea. I think they said from like fucking Nickelodeon, where you run and jump on the trampoline and then stick to the wall.
Yeah.
You know, and there's like, we think that we could just pick a human up and throw them. And it fucking didn't work at all.
No.
They were talking. Well, they were saying that a bunch of the fucking events, they just thought them up while they were going. So there was like no testing of them or anything. So that's why everyone was getting fucked up.
Which, I mean, I love that because it's such like a foreign concept considering like, what was it? I was watching an episode of The Challenge, which has used some of the American Gladiator events, but just put more contact in them and called it a challenge event.
Right.
And there was an episode where one of the girls was complaining that it was impossible for her to do whatever their daily challenge was for the episode. And TJ Lavin pointed out, he's like, we have testers that go and do the event and make sure that, you know, like from the shortest person to the tallest person, that it's possible for you to do this and it's safe.
Yeah.
And he pointed out, we had somebody your height go through because you're the shortest person here, and they were able to do it.
Well, there was just a bunch of the things, like even like they were talking about, what was that one with the tennis balls where they shot them at you?
Which, okay, yeah, that, like, I think I watched some of the original first season episodes. Maybe when they were on like syndication or reruns or whatever on USA, on the USA Network, and like I remember the tree, and I was like,
see, I don't.
Like, what is this tree?
I don't.
Why did somebody go to
Hobby
Home
Lobby?
Goods a tree?
Yeah. And even that guy said it too. He's like, there's this event where like they were shooting tennis balls. He's like, and then just in the middle of it, there was this little like twigs that they had to hide behind, and you're just like, the ball will go right through there. And then sure enough, it's like, bing, and it got her, and you're just like, yeah, what the fuck? Like, that's not a hiding thing at all.
No, that was a terrible idea.
You know, but I've been seeing, like, I remember as a kid being like, dude, I really wonder how hard it is. You know, like, how fast were those balls going at you? You know?
They had to have been fast. I mean, but it's a tennis ball, so it probably can only hurt so much.
Well, I mean, it could only, I don't know. Like, it didn't look like it was going fast at all. Like, it looked like they probably would have had better, like, I don't know, accuracy if they would have fucking hired a professional tennis player to hit it with a tennis racket, you know? Like, that would have been faster.
Yeah.
But, yeah, when that guy's like, nah, that didn't work. But I remember when they, like, figured it out and, like, it had walls and then the walls had shapes cut out of it and stuff like that. Yeah.
That's the first one I really saw, was that one.
Dude.
And then watching the old episodes, like, I remember the twigs, but I don't remember the executioner.
Yeah,
So,
that executioner. What the fuck? Like, who, like, you know, when you get like a dumb idea, like, there's like, you know what? You're fucking fired, bro. Like, I think when the Switch came out and there was those issues, the creator of the Switch, he took 50% pay cut for that
Really?
fucking, yeah, you know? But,
wow.
yeah, there were some of those events where you're just like, what are you thinking? Like, I don't remember the joust where if they pushed them backwards, then the platform fell.
I do not remember that.
Clearly was a stupid idea in the first place. Why wouldn't you just knock them over? And then
they're talking about you hit your head, and it's like, you know, like, I guess, you know, you can kind of give an alibi to that, because back then it's like we weren't thinking about like what's good for your head. We weren't thinking about are
your head
all
on
these
what?
like because that's what Nitro or Danny Clark was saying, that when they'd fall backwards, they were hitting their head on the piece that's falling down.
Oh, I don't remember him saying that. I just remember him walking forward and it like looks like it's scraped from his leg all the way to his balls, and then he fell off.
No, he said
Because the
they would
platform
hit their
falls
head.
and he goes, oop, and then it scrapes his leg, and then it goes, oh, to his nutsack, and then he fucking falls off of it. But you're like, why would you have it fall like that, And then that's when they started talking to everybody else. They're just like, oh, yeah, we were basically like, do you know what like office carpet is?
Yeah.
Where it's just like concrete, and then it's like a thin layer of carpet. There's no padding underneath it. There's no nothing, And they're like, yeah, that's what we're playing on. So they're playing that football game on that, and they're playing the fucking basketball game on that. They're playing that wrestling one on it, and they're just like, yep, we didn't have any padding. We were just being knocked down on concrete. And you're like, none of you guys thought that this wasn't going to be a good idea?
Wait a minute. Can we like throw a layer of padding under here at least?
Anything. There's like, let's go with it. Like, what the hell?
They didn't have like a real doctor.
Or they couldn't go like outside on the grass at least. Like, Jesus. They're like, yeah, we didn't have any padding. We just did this. And then it was like fucking finally, there's like, then we started getting padding floors. And you're just like, then you start getting padding floors? Like, what the shit?
Somebody, like, fucking busted their ankle.
Well, I felt bad because like we'll talk about this later on too. But it was that girl, I think it was Sunny. It was Sunny. For some reason, they raised that platform up like 6 or 8 inches off the ground. And so when she got taken out, it fucked her knee up. And so she was gone.
Yeah.
But then on top of that, they started talking to, I can't remember who. And she's like, we got fucked. She's like, our contracts like said basically if we get hurt, we're fucking out of luck. And they're like, and they never helped her. And I was like, that's just a shitty contract. That's a fucking shitty manager. That's fucking, we'll talk about that as, later on. But that was the first time they mentioned it. And that was like some, going back and watching it again, like that's some fucked up forecasting or foreshadowing that she said that, Yeah. And so then like after she got fucked up and then after Malibu got fucked up and then all this, it's like, hey, maybe we need to get some safety precautions in here.
Which, I mean, like Malibu survived a car crash, basically. Like it was a car crash of bodies.
But like, it was his knee that fucking. Did he say that he got like all those injuries from that one thing?
From the one impact.
What a bitch.
I think it's just like, like you see some of the other guys. It's like, I think he was so committed to trying to win that round that he tried to hold on as long as possible. But you saw some of those where if like Gemini or anybody else thought like, oh, I'm going down, they would just jump.
Well, like I said, his feet were completely wrong in the first place.
Oh yeah, they were.
It's like they drew a line and he put his toes equal on that line. You're like, you can be pushed with the finger to fall backwards or fall forward. Like that's the first thing they teach you in any kind of, even like football. If you're on the line, you don't go just your toes equal. Like I'm pretty sure you take a step back so you can use that back leg as balance or strength, momentum, whatever you want to call it, But that when she mentioned that in their contract that they signed, like, oh yeah, if you get fucked up, then fuck off. That right there, I would have been like,
I kind of feel like maybe they get away with that because they're the only game in town and there's really not a whole lot of competition series at that point.
Yeah.
Because you don't really see the next.
Well, that's what they were saying too.
Like the actual another competition series until 96, and that was, or 95 or 96, and that's Survivor.
Well, there was roller derby.
Oh yeah, that's right. But then that was like early 2000s though.
No way.
Really? Yeah.
No. Because I thought they said they started going to. That was their main competitor was roller derby, and they were taking chicks from there trying to come over to American Gladiator. You know,
Yeah.
but yeah. So that part was messed up. And they're like, nope, that's where we signed our contract. And then I think the third episode, it talks about how crazy big they got.
Yeah.
You know,
Which
like that.
Like the thing is, I never realized that they compared American Gladiators to Trash Television and Sally Jesse Raphael.
Oh God.
Like that to me, I was like, wait, what? What did I miss here? Because I feel like this is different than, my child is out of control and I'm going to send him to boot camp.
Dude.
Until he learns how to act right. Like this is way different than that. Like this is different than my husband cheated on me with 5 women. Like
my husband's cheating on me with midgets.
Like, yeah, this is way different than that.
I mean, yeah, but that's what they were, So they started talking about how they just blew up and everybody just loved them. And then they started getting on, and then they'd have the tryouts and more and more people show up. They talked about how MC Hammer, that was the example. They said MC Hammer was at a concert, and then the next night they had like 5,000 more people there than MC Hammer had at his concert.
Wow.
And you're just like, what? They're like 15,000, something ridiculous, dude. And you're like, damn,
Everybody
that's
was
too
like,
legit to quit.
I don't want to go see MC Hammer. I'd rather go to American Gladiators.
Yeah, right. Back in the day, dude. Go see MC Hammer doing that typewriter dance. Ooh. That fucking box and those glasses, those parachute pants.
I know.
Dude.
But yeah, so that's when I believe the the issue comes in with licensing and being able to make money off of their names.
No, that was a little bit later.
Well, yeah, so we're almost there. But that's when they start the regional tryouts in the city that they're at.
It's just going down.
And they actually start getting teachers that look like teachers, not Mr. Olympia, who happens to be a substitute.
Yeah. And then I think this is episode 2 where they introduce that piece of shit. Like, I hate humans like that. That he's like, my name's, Carl, and I was the worst competitor on Gladiator.
I liked him.
And you're like, you're proud of yourself that everybody hates you?
I liked him.
I fucking thought he was a douchebag, dude.
I don't know. Because when I watched that when I was a kid, most of the time when they went to the David versus Goliath mentality of it, and went with normal people versus gladiators, the normal people are just getting demolished
because that's what the show's about.
But yeah, it's supposed to be like Wipeout, but slightly more serious.
Kinda. If you went to a fucking, you really think you can beat me in basketball, and it's fucking you against an NBA player. You're not going to go and fucking do dirty shots on the NBA player and fucking try to take his knees out and elbow him when you foul him and stuff like that. You're going to try to actually do it. But this guy, I think that's kind of how my stepdad was growing up, dude. He always had to go 100%. You're just like, dude, you're just training, man. He was in the military and he'd be the one that would go 125% during training. You're just like, everybody else is going you just have to go through it. You don't have to physically hurt your fucking fellow brothers, and so that's what I thought that guy was doing. He's like, I'm the worst one ever, and this, and you're just like, so you're going out purposely trying to hurt
basically
those people, and how many people sucked your dick because of that?
That's the thing is, I have a good amount of respect for him for that, because how do you become the champion? You have to, fight like hell and just go take it.
And we can talk shit about that bullshit LeBron's. He thinks he's the GOAT, but then all he does is fucking flop all the time. If you really are the GOAT, use your fucking skills and do it. That guy, if he really was going to become the champion, use your skills, your strength, your height, your speed, everything like that, and beat the gladiators. Don't be cheap and try to fucking take that. Like even in UFC fights, the biggest thing that I think is stupid is when you can legally kick the person's knee backwards. You're like,
Oh yeah.
that's stupid. That's career ending. You know, like, yeah, it's legal, but don't do it.
Yeah, but I mean, just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Yeah, so that guy's like, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to do this. You're just like, how about I just go out and win? You know, like, but he was so proud, like, yeah, everybody hated me. I fucking got death letters after that. And fucking my wife and children's left me. But at least I was on fucking a TV show. And he's all trying to claim that they made him lose. Like they gave the other guy points and made him start later in the challenge and did all this other stuff. You're just like, sounds like a loser would say.
I mean, okay. I will semi agree with what he's saying because like when you talk about like things that are classified, there's a subtle distinction here. It's like things that are classified as a game show versus a competition series. Like if you watch Survivor, like they adjust the height of podium or of platform depending on the height of the person to make it equal for everybody. If you watch the challenge, it's classified as a competition show. So if you're 5'3" and the other guy's 6'2" and this is weighted towards him, good fucking luck. You better find a way to do this.
Yeah, like I think in American Ninja Warrior, where they have to do the spider climb, where you jump up and spread your legs, and I was like, what happens if you're like 5'1"? Then you can't even do the splits and get that shit.
You're gonna have a hard time.
You better climb on the side of the wall and start fucking shimmying your ass over.
It's a competition series, so they don't have to do anything to accommodate you.
Yeah.
So I think that was, and the other thing that comes with that is, if something happens and they haven't explained a rule about it, they can create the rule on the fly.
Yeah. I think that's what the guy was trying to say that they did and everything. You're just like, that's because they didn't like me. You know why they didn't like you?
Because you're a dick.
Because you were a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
That's why.
But no, like
wasn't he the oldest competitor too?
44.
Yeah, so damn, in 3 years, I'm gonna go for American Gladiator. Fuck. You thought that guy was bad. I'm just gonna go out wearing a fucking G-string banana hammock and lube up my entire body from head to toe, and then they're not gonna be able to get me at all. So, with their big fame and everything like that, they started talking about, and it's kind of true though too. Like, I have a buddy who's in the music industry, and he said that you don't make a lot of money off of CDs and downloads, stuff like that, I believe, but you make a lot of money on tours. You know,
yeah.
And so that's when the Gladiators started saying that, hey, you know what? Now we have to go on a fucking nationwide tour, and that's when they were starting to make a lot of money. You know, but the thing too, again, that sucked was they said that if you get hurt, that's on you. You know? So then you have these people that are going on tours and they're getting their fame. And then, like you mentioned, they were having tryouts in every city that they were going to. And then I think this is where it started going downhill because they were getting injured on the tour. And then they saw their competitors were now also like I said, they were big, you know, don't get me wrong, but they could have been, I want to say bigger or jacked or, you know, like The Rock, I feel was bigger than like Gemini, you know?
Yeah.
And so this is where they started being like, you know how to get jacked real quick? Let's start taking fucking anabolic steroids.
Which, okay, this was around the time that steroids became a major problem in, I want to say, every sport.
Oh, I thought you were going to say cool.
No, like they were there was a, like, even in the WWF at the time, there was a trial over steroids.
Are there rules in the WWF?
Now they have like no drugs, no steroids,
Come
no
on,
nothing.
Man.
Like
Why?
very tight about what you can and can't have in your body.
Why? Because of that one dude. What was his name?
Well, what,
That dude
Warrior?
who murked up his family.
Oh no, Benoit. No,
Oh,
no. This was during the days of like Hulk Hogan, Warrior,
all those dudes were on roids, man.
Macho Man.
He was probably the worst one. That's why his voice was like that.
Ooh yeah.
Oh yeah, slap it to a Slim Jim, and that's how he got so cut. That was his only diet, man. Slim Jims. He didn't drink water. He didn't do anything. He only ate Slim Jims. That's why he got fucking so many times he lost his voice because it was so dried out. And they're like, "This isn't part of your fucking diet, asshole." Yeah.
But yeah, so the steroid thing, like I was like kind of saw it coming, like because everybody was doing it back then. Nobody knew it was bad. Nobody knew you're gonna kill yourself.
Yeah. And so when they started talking about, how many syringes do I need to bring? I'm going to be on a bus for 3 weeks. I take 8 shots a day. So fucking 8 times this. And then we need to go here. You're just like, good God, man. But everybody started doing that. And they started talking about roid rage. And there was that one guy who didn't agree with like a ref's call. So he fucking chased him in the middle of the show and tried to fucking murder him. Yeah.
It's like, wrong place, wrong time, I think, because if Gemini can fight a competitor in front of a crowd, like this guy chasing the ref, like maybe if you had like flipped out backstage, then it would have been
like, then those 2 dudes were talking about going to like a fucking nice dinner party, and they were driving in his Jeep and he touched the radio. And he's like, and that just triggered me. He's like, what the fuck? And they started fist fighting in the fucking Jeep. And the guy's like, pull over now. And so they both pull over and started fighting. And he bit his friend's face. Like, what the fuck, man?
Is that laser?
I thought it just made your dick small. I didn't think it made you bite your friend's face.
It'll set you on a rage.
Dude, and get back knee.
Get back knee, get a giant head.
Dude.
Yeah.
Sounds like I'm taking steroids. He's like, there must be steroids in garlic bread. A bench warmers reference.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, you don't want to take steroids, it makes your wiener small. And he's like, Mom must be putting steroids in garlic bread. They're so pissed. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But then after that fight, they're like, hey, what's up? You want to go to dinner? And they still went to that fucking nice high-end restaurant or party with their face bit.
And it's like, oh, what happened to your face? It's like, oh, I bit his face.
Oh, don't worry about it. Let me in now, or I'm going to bite your face.
I will bite your face, yeah.
You don't think I will? Look at my friend. And I like him. We came here together, actually. If you didn't
I don't know you.
That's fucked up. Yeah. So, so the 4th episode, this is where they were talking about all the drug use, and that the directors just walk into any dress room at any time. There's be syringes all over the ground.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
But yeah,
all of my hypodermic needles that I use for mainlining black tar, they're always putting.
It's always very safe.
Yes. I don't want to look like a degenerate.
I have my own disposal container, and I walk around with it and just dump my needles in there as I go.
I actually robbed a hospital, and I stole one of those biohazard trash cans.
Yeah, that's what you do. But,
see,
okay, this is also the episode where they threaten to quit if they're not paid better, right?
I think that's the last episode.
That's the last episode, okay.
But yes, it is because of all of their fame and all of their success and their tours and they're like that. And I do remember this, though. I do remember those stupid toys because now they started selling the merchandise.
Yes.
And that was the end of that episode. Was they're like, hey, we started getting merchandise, and that's how you knew that you were huge. As even more fucked up is that all the guys had their own toys, but all
Oh
the
yeah,
girls had the same toy, but just different names on it.
the
Like,
same generic lady toy.
yeah, yeah, it was pretty, hilarious, dude. And then, I think the end of the series, they start out with it, and then it's again goes back to her foreshadowing her contract. So they sold millions and millions of dollars worth of these toys, and they
Yeah.
didn't get a single penny.
Nope. And
And you're
it's
just
not
like,
like
how is that even legal?
that is not legal. But then again, this is a contract you could sign in the 80s. I don't think you can sign this contract anymore because it's
So
actually considered slavery.
that's exactly what they said. They said that the signed contract was that we don't get anything. And they're like, well, we didn't know we were going to blow up. And this was what, 7 years into it now, right? Something like that.
Well, when they go to jump ship, it's after year 3, and then
No, it's not.
I want. Well, was it year 3
No,
or year
because he
5?
goes to jump ship on season 6, I believe. They bring him back to host season 7.
Oh yeah, Danny Clark, Nitro.
But like, that's the thing. It's like, what the fuck? They're like, yeah, we signed this contract. We didn't know we were going to get big. Like, dude, that's just shitty fucking management, dude. Like, I would go back and I would beat the shit out of my manager. I'd be like, you let me sign this piece of shit contract saying that if I get injured, I'm fucked. I don't have insurance. And then if I make millions of dollars and you use my name and you sell my toys and you use my dildo, like, I don't get any money from that.
Yeah, really.
Like, damn, And so that just blew my mind right there. When there's like, we didn't get a single penny for any of these toys. You're like, that sucks. And then they tried to, that was the fucked up part too. They tried to say, hey, guess what? We want to renegotiate our contracts. You have like a week to let us know, or a month or something like that, to renegotiate.
Yeah.
And so it was a couple of the people that were the main ones that have been there since day one. And what they say, they literally waited until like tomorrow is our meeting with them. And they called that person that night. And so like, okay, so what's going on? And then their lawyers called them and they said, hey, it was something like, quote, my dad didn't negotiate contracts. I will not negotiate contracts. Show up to work tomorrow or you're fired. You're just like, that's fucking ruthless, bro. Like,
Yeah.
you just made how much millions and millions and millions of dollars off of these people? I think it was 5 years. 5 years they had been raking in this money.
That's right. It's 5, yeah.
And so then a bunch of them were like, well, fuck you then. We're quitting.
Yeah.
And so they quit. And then season 6, they had a couple new people. And they contacted Nitro and maybe a couple other ones.
Ice comes back too.
And said, hey, if you come back for whatever, then we'll let you host the next season.
Well, yeah,
remember
they ran into a problem where that I don't think they thought it through well enough that the show is not about the competition anymore. The show's about the Gladiators. People come to watch Nitro.
What is that?
It's alien ball.
We got Levi joining in.
Yeah, with his alien ball.
But,
like the show became about the Gladiators at that point. They were the draw and the attraction.
Yeah, see, and then again, like, I'm going to mention this again, like, those girls back in the day, dude, like, I'm glad I was born and raised when I was, because they just weren't, they weren't banging back then. But everybody's like, oh my God, did you see those chicks? You're just like, no. But there was one that kept interviewing now that we're adults and she's probably like 50 years old. You're just like, dude, she's a lot cuter now than she is when she was in her prime.
Yeah, Ice, Lori Fetrick.
There it is.
Which, mean, the one that looked the most different out of all of them was Malibu.
Oh God, come on, man!
He had that
Give it up, bro.
mane of hair. Like he had to have a strong neck for all that hair and all that product.
dude. And then
And
the fact that he was a natural blonde, right?
yeah,
And he's like, fuck this. And then he just slicked his hair back looking like Steven Seagal and dyed his hair black.
yeah,
And you're like, all right. But yeah, a lot of them did look the exact same, man. The guys did. They weren't as big, but
yeah.
they
Gemini looked like Gemini. Blaze looked like Blaze.
Laser looked like Laser for sure.
Sarge looked like Sarge.
Fucking Sarge. But yeah, no, they for sure got screwed so bad. I remember watching that episode. I remember like, I don't know, it was probably 1, 2 in the morning. I'd go upstairs and I wake my wife up. I was like, babe, they didn't get any kind of royalties. And she's like, get the hell out of our bedroom now. And I was like, all right, I'll talk to you tomorrow. I came downstairs. But yeah, no royalties at all. Like, that's so fucked.
But then, like, the show did its decline, which I think when I heard that part, I was like, it was probably going to be canceled by like season 10 or 11 or whatever at some point, anyways, because these things run their course.
Yeah,
But,
I was about
like,
to say, dude, 7. Oh, yep. I know.
they basically sped up the decline by not paying them, because if you pay them just a little bit more or give them some of the royalties, like,
Yeah.
you're going to stick around because something is better than nothing.
Yeah. And then they tried all those different what are they called? Outlooks, outsourcing to try to fucking do anything. And they did
Sorry.
was it the American Gladiator dinner party?
Start that now.
The American Gladiator dinner theater.
That I was like, when I saw that, I was like, how have I never heard of this before?
Dude,
I laughed so hard.
they should
when I
just
saw
rent
that.
it out from like the Excalibur one night. And be like,
They
we're
should.
bringing back Nitro and Blaze and Gemini and Malibu and
Which-
fucking
Yeah, the the thing that had to have been the nail in the coffin for the entire thing is, I would say Nitro would be the face of American Gladiators, and if he's gonna come back for 3 nights and be like, fuck this shit, like, you know,
I don't know, man. Laser kind of lasted was Laser in season 1? Laser was the longest one.
2.
No, Laser
Yeah.
wasn't. No, because they got into an argument. He's like, dude, my friend got it. And so when Malibu got hurt, Laser took Malibu's spot.
That's right.
You know?
And
But I like how they were. So finally they threw the flag in because nobody wanted to eat dinner and see people get their asses whooped by a human cannonball.
they said it was like plants, because that was like those old shows that you would see at Six Flags or Disneyland, where like they would call somebody from the audience and be like, can you drive this motorcycle around the steel cage? And they randomly can do it. And it's like, there's no way that they could just ask like the mom who brought her kids to drive.
But I'm in the middle of eating dinner.
Yeah.
I can't because my dinner will be cold. You know, like,
Yeah.
who wants to do a human cannonball?
So obviously these people are plants. Like, everybody knew it.
Maybe they weren't, man.
No, they said it. They're plants.
Oh, I was saying
they
it was
practiced with these people so they wouldn't get injured.
jacked up. But and then I liked at the end how they started like talking to people, and that one fucking nerd who was like, I was the worst one ever. And I was like, let's see what this guy's done with his life. And he's like, yeah, after American Gladiator, I did something, and then I started, illegally transporting people over the border, and we would do this. I was like, wait a second, hold on. I was like, did he just say that he fucking was transporting illegal immigrants over the border? And then he's like, and I was busted, and I spent time in prison. I was like, what the fuck? Why are you interviewing this guy?
The thing is,
That's when I was like, this guy's fucking hilarious, dude.
that's the thing.
I changed everything about the guy. I was like, dude, this guy's fucking a nerd, but he's pretty hilarious.
That's the thing is, like, he is a beautiful train wreck of a human being, and I love
God, and
him
he was so happy
much.
about like, that he's like, what if it wasn't even real? He's like, I got to come up with a story. All right, that was. Yeah, and then I think they also mentioned that they try to bring back an old gladiator to compete against them,
Oh
and they're
yeah,
like, we were all here together."
that to me, like, that doesn't feel special because that runs away from the point of what American Gladiators was supposed to be. Like, that doesn't feel like the common man versus this insurmountable thing that you're supposed to do.
Yeah, no, I still think it looked. I don't know, man. This is like I said. This is where my kid gets it from. I remember being a kid and being like, "Dude, how easy would that be?" Like, how easy would it be? Like the whole swinging, the ring swing, where they had to get from one side to the other side. Come on, man. Every fucking kid in elementary school would dominate that game.
Yeah.
But then if you think about like, when was the last time you fucking did the monkey bars? So as an adult, if I saw an adult doing the monkey bars, I'd be like, call the police. This guy's fucking hanging out, hanging at a playground doing monkey bars in front of kids. Like something's not right.
Yeah.
But
okay, so they only do focus on like the original series, but then I do remember there was what was it, a reboot attempt with Hulk Hogan as the host.
shut the fuck up.
Deadly Serious on NBC.
God damn
I
it.
want to say, I'm probably going to get the year wrong, but it was probably like 2008. And instead of
Shut the hell up.
yeah, like instead of pads, they had all the obstacles over water. I don't know. I don't understand the concept
Dude.
behind that. I don't understand why that makes sense. Then it's like,
2008. That means that we would have been fucking 24, 25 years old.
yeah, I remember it. Like, I remember hearing about it. I watched an episode of it, and I'm like, it's not the same.
God damn it.
It's not my.
See, like I always told, like everybody that I know, even if I don't know you, if I met you at a bar tonight, I'd be like, hey, if I ever become a famous rapper, and they're like, hey, we booked you a spot in Prim, I'd be like, I quit. I know that it's time for me to bow out. Like it's the same thing. If you were an American Gladiator, it's like, hey, you want to do dinner theater? I'd be like, this is where we're at.
This is where
And
I get
it's
off.
like,
I'm over it at this point.
yeah.
And
Unless
then I think,
it would be funny if they did a reboot of it, kind of how Daniel Tosh said, like if you were in the NFL, you have to play in the NFL until you die. So like, you fucking get tackled with your old brittle bones and turns into powder.
oh my God.
Like die like a man on the fucking field that made you famous. Like, could you imagine? There's like, all right, Malibu, get back up there, fucking finish strong.
The podcast ends.
Yeah.
If they're like, this is how you're going to end, and there it is. And it's like they just give them one more gigantic boost of Tren, and then fucking make them go onto the fucking gauntlet.
Yeah. But I think what was it? And then now there is a current version that I think it has had at least a season in the UK on BBC. I know, like this is the thing that won't die. And then when I heard about that, I'm like, I'm gonna watch it and I'm gonna complain.
I hope there's a movie, but like the gladiators, like after work, go out and like fight crime. And you're just like, hey, how come these like 8 buff people are killing everybody, and then nobody knows who they are?
You look a lot like Gemini.
He's like, oh yeah, and then he rips his arms off, and then he beats him to death with his own arms.
He figured out who I was. Damn it!
Yeah,
how do I hide my identity?
I had to do it, Sarge.
But yeah, so I mean, I feel like that is the documentary in a nutshell, right there.
That is, man. Like I said, there are some super crazy things, man. Like the contracts and all that shit just blew my mind when they're like, yep, you don't get anything. You signed the contract right here. You see, that's your name. And right beside your name, it says, I don't want any money. Like, that is weird. Like, I do love documentaries, man. Like, those are probably one of my, top things to watch, like documentaries. And then I really like this because, like, watching, I was like, dude, I remember watching this as a kid. But like they've brought back so much stuff from when we were kids because I think that now we're the adults and it's time for us to start buying the movies and going to the movie theaters and everything like that. But I don't think that, I don't know. Like I've tried to watch a couple shows with Kane and I was like, God damn it. I used to wake up early on Saturday morning to watch fucking 90s X-Men. I still love that song. But if they try to do like a remake of stuff. Like I was kind of disappointed they never made a remake of Thundercats. That was a cool show, I think.
I mean, they remade He-Man.
You and I have joked about them making He-Man. He them man or he them something. But I think I'd be okay if they didn't do a remake of Gladiator. But at the same time, could you imagine how balls to the wall it would be if they fucking redid all this stuff?
I know.
With the technology that we have today and all that other, like I think it'd be hilarious if they redid it, but it'd have to be done like good.
Yeah. Well, now with like the competition show bar has been set so high that you really would have to find something truly difficult, unique, fun, like for people.
But there's really nothing like the American Gladiators. Like you keep mentioning the challenge, and who's that? Those guys got to be like 50, 60 years old by now. Fucking, what's those dudes' names? CJ,
CT, and Johnny Bananas. They're in their 40s.
There's no fucking way they're in their 40s, dude.
Yeah.
I'm fucking 41 years old.
They started out young as hell on the challenge.
They started out when they were like in their 20s.
They did. And they've been going.
That was 30 years ago.
No, the challenge is only like 20, 25 years old. They used to do 2 seasons a year.
Dude. But it's like that shit where you're just like, those guys were the ones that were like the tough masculine and all that stuff. Like the tough masculine dudes, like those are the ones that you need to fight and everything like that. You're telling me that for fucking 25 years, there's not been another alpha male that has gone into fucking Real World or Road Rules or whatever the fuck those shows are called?
Well, now they don't even use Real World and Road Rules. They just find people that, have like good social media followings and put them on the show.
Oh, see, I've hated Real World and Road Rules and fucking all those other things ever since they first came out. One of my brothers used to like it, and I was like, this is the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life. Like, I fucking hated those things. And then that's where they used to get those people from. But you're telling me that there's nobody, like, really? CT is fucking God's epitome of a man?
Well, it's been a while since he's won. It's been a while since Johnny Bananas has won, and now you're seeing...
because they're fucking 50, 60 years old.
Yeah, and you're seeing some of the guys in their 30s that are, like, pretty athletic or winning now.
Yeah, because they're fucking young. Yeah. But, no, it was... I really liked the documentary. Like, it was... it was funny, and then like I said, just it opened your eyes, like the whole behind the scene type of shit. Like no money at all for fucking any of those action figures. Like I remember those action figures and shit like that. And those stupid, you could build your own fucking tennis ball shooting course.
Oh yeah,
like the finger skate parks. I guarantee that's all they did. They just fucking partnered up with the finger skate parks and just spray painted them gray. But no, it was solid. It's fucked up how they were treated and everything like that. But it was good.
Yeah.
So All right, man. I think my drink's empty.
All right. Well,
Hear that, everybody? But no, it was good. So thanks. I think we're
thank
gonna.
you, and we'll talk to you next time on Everything Gets Berated.
All right. Thanks, everybody. No mercy.
Everything gets berated. No one is underrated. From the screen to the stage, we set the new cage. No mercy.